Alan Watts has written a book that Nancy Wilson Ross in the New York Times Book Review has called A Work About a Phenomenon Filled with Enthusiasm and, I might add, the juiciness of life. And the phenomenon, of course, is the author himself, Alan Watts, who perhaps more than anyone in this country, perhaps in the Western world, has helped popularize, but in the good sense, the nature of Zen. And Mr. Watts has written about 20 or so books. Way of Zen, his most popular, among others. The newest is about himself, his autobiography. It's called In My Way. In My Own Way.
And it's this that doesn't really emerge when you look at human behavior at the level of the mass. And so much of our impressions of what the world is doing are gained at this mass level that I think our perspective becomes very much falsified. It isn't that the observations of the statisticians and the newspapers are just frankly untrue. It isn't that at all. It's that they represent only a half-truth. Now, one of the real reasons why there are people who can manipulate in this way, why, for example, certain totalitarian states can get away with rewriting history, they can get away with it because people are accustomed to thinking that there is some such thing as the truth. And the moment we are, as it were, suckers in this sense for the truth, I'm inclined to ask, why does he say what he says? From what point of view is he looking at it? And what does he want to achieve by representing what he sees in such and such a way? And this, I think, is the essence of the thing, that what is true is always relative to a way of looking at things and an intention to do something. Thus we can see very clearly that, say, in physics today, light may sometimes be described as a wave behavior and sometimes as a particle behavior. And therefore his point of view with regard to responsibility to the human being as a source of action tends to be deterministic. And the point of view of these scientists is naturally rather the same point of view as one who observes behavior statistically, who looks at it in the mass. And he feels that at that level, what the group, as a very large number of people, will do is, the more numerous it is, the more predictable it is, and therefore whatever is predictable seems to be highly determined. But of course, at the level of individual behavior, what people are going to do is the most difficult thing of all to predict. And just for that reason alone, one is inclined to say that what is not predictable is not determined. Here you see a sort of mad craziness at the mass level and relative intelligence at the individual level. Sometimes it's when you change your level of magnification, it's the other way around. As, for example, when you examine the constitution of human blood, you find an enormous dog-eat-dog warfare going on of cells eating cells, bacilli of various kinds warring on each other and on the component elements of the organism. But what this turmoil and conflict adds up to at a larger level is the ongoing health of the body composed of all these tiny elements. Logically speaking, you see, health, harmonious functioning, is something totally opposed and exclusive of warfare.